One issue that certainly matters to the voters of this city, the city of Bengaluru, is just how broken their infrastructure is. Now, I visited parts of Bangalore where traffic jams can last sometimes even up to hours. The running joke is there is one place in Bangalore where on the other side of the flyover, if you get married, by the time you get to the other side of the flyover, you'll probably end up being divorced. I'm going to get you this ground report on what are the issues on the ground and why Bangaloreans, ordinary citizens, are not coming out and making their voices heard at this time, this one time, once in 5 years, when their vote and their voice matters. Why are they not coming out and making a shindy about it? That's in this exclusive series of ground reports. So, we are in this main arterial road that connects Jayanagar, JP Nagar, which is South Bangalore, towards the outer ring road, towards the Hosur road, and of course eventually from there to Sajapur and Bengaluru. With me, BS Arun, veteran journalist, resident Bangalorean. And look at the picture. I mean, you've got construction debris on the one side, you've got metro construction happening at a brisk pace here, and then of course there's traffic on the other side of the road. And this is a typical Bangalore scene. There are such pockets everywhere. Why does this sort of continue to happen, Arun? We've been talking about Bangalore, its infrastructure woes for a number of years, probably 20 years now.
Yes.
But why does it not ever get changed?
You know, this road is sort of the gateway to the IT corridor from South Bangalore, from Jayanagar and from Mysore Road. You know, lots of areas connect to Bengaluru and, Martahalli, Whitefield, to this road. So this road becomes the arterial or sort of, the most important connecting point from the other part of Bangalore. And there is no other big road, like this road, to connect these 2 points of Bangalore South and Bangalore Southeast. So that's one reason. And we, until this metro starts, until then we are going to have this problem. And this is also the infamous, silk board, that point.
Yeah.
Down the road, another kilometer, we'll get silk board, and that's another huge bottleneck from the traffic point of view. And this has been happening, and this is okay now today because we are past the
morning peak hour.
Yeah. And there is no rain happening.
Yeah.
Yesterday evening, lots of rain. People had a nightmare of an experience here.
One of the things I noticed is obviously there's metro construction in most cities, right? In Delhi, in Mumbai, etc. But this debris being put out on the road like this, I don't think I've seen this anywhere.
Yes.
And I think it speaks to the construction. This is also adding to the woes. I mean, if that debris is not there, you could actually widen this road. It could ease up the traffic a bit.
I think this is the major difference in construction and how the construction should not be.
Yeah.
The difference between Bangalore and, say, Delhi, where the construction, you will never going to see this kind of debris in Delhi. They manage it so well. Whereas here, I don't think they will bother much. And people also don't oppose it, so they think it's fine. What's the point in hearing all this and paying for that also?
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down this road. This is the road that connects, like I said, South Bangalore to the IT corridor. And mind you, there are IT corridors in both directions, right, Arun? So you hit the junction. This way is Electronic City, and then further down, of course, is the IT corridor, the place that infamously got flooded last year.
Yes. It's just a few kilometers away, and when it rains, the scene is very bad, and especially in the during the peak hours. And there's a lot of heavy traffic.
How many years has this metro been under construction for?
Oh, it must be about 5 to 6 years now.
At least 5 to 6 years.
It's not complete as yet. They have given the target of, I think, next June or so. I'm not
2024 June.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm not sure whether
it'll be ready by then. So effectively, you're looking at one line, just one stretch of the metro taking about 7 or 8 years. Obviously, that's compounding to the current traffic. You can see this is a signal. It is a junction, of course. But you can see just how much traffic is building up. And this is in the middle of the day. But we're going to go down this road and sort of retrace the steps, if you will, of this IT corridor and why there are such massive jams across Bangalore and why this problem has not been fixed for at least a couple of decades now. All right. right, so we're standing here at what is an infamous location of Bengaluru city. It's called the Silk Board, and there are tons of memes and caricatures about Silk Board. So let's ask Arun about it. What are the jokes that are made about Silk Board?
Well, there are many. I can tell you one which I remember. There is a, I think, YouTube video, short video, a documentary kind of thing. And, the wedding takes place when the couple reach this road, at the start.
Yeah.
So they get married. The fight happens, during the journey.
Through the journey.
And by the time their travel ends here, when they about to reach their office, there is the divorce. So marriage happens, then the fight happens and divorce also happens.
Through the course of just navigating traffic at the Silk Board flyover. But has this always been like this, or is it because of the construction? I can see garbage also being picked up. You can see a garbage vehicle there picking up tons of garbage from the side of the road. Has this always been like this, or has it gotten progressively worse because of all the construction?
It's progressively worse. Number one, because the population moved to this side of the city. There was not much of population here in the eastern part and southeastern part of the city. And then the IT corridor started. And then because of the IT corridor, all the ancillary units came up. All these residential plots. Earlier it was only Silk Board. And then all these huge constructions came here. And it got worse. Progressively got worse.
And why don't any political parties or anyone, talk about the issues here? I mean, obviously this is a nightmare for commuters across, because you're saying there is the IT corridor towards the Sarjapur, Bengaluru side, and then of course there's Electronic City on this side. But no one seems to talk about this. I mean, we've had the major parties releasing their manifesto, both BJP and Congress. I don't think there's any plan here to decongest Silk Board.
See, the thing is, this is a newer part of Bangalore. And the traditional part is on the southern side and other parts of the city. There's not much of attention. Of course, there are many MLA constituencies here. Like if you see Bomanahalli and Madhavpura, that way it's important. What we see is, sort of negligence of the authorities. I will give you one example, Zakka. The Prime Minister came to Bangalore and inaugurated many projects.
Yeah.
There is not a single BBMP project.
And why is that?
Because BBMP has not taken up any big work over the last few years, and they have nothing to show. Whereas, one line of metro was inaugurated by the PM.
Yeah.
So that shows the kind of negligence that even the BBMP has, and the areas that were flooded is not very far from here.
Correct. So what we'll do is we'll go to those areas, we'll show you what exactly the flooding did and why it played out the way it did, because only part of it was because of the rain. The other part of it was man-made, and we'll explain that to you through the course of the show. So we're just off what is called the Outer Ring Road in Bangalore, and this is where the IT corridor is. This part of town is what got infamously flooded last September with just a small bout of rain. Arun is with me, and I'm going to show you something very interesting. We've got a bunch of these constructions that are happening, and this is literally a lake bed, construction that is happening on top of a lake bed. You can see, algae and weeds grow there on the water. If you actually pan a little more further into that building, you can literally see the building's basement is full of water. Arun, this is illegal, right? I mean, this should not have come up in the first place. Now it's an abandoned building. But look at that. You can see weeds, you can see water plants. The entire basement of that building is in water.
Yeah. I think this is how a town planning should not be. This is a prime example of that. I think it also shows the nexus between the officials, the politicians, the builders and whatnot. I think, and this is one of the main reasons why Bangalore got flooded like never before in this particular area last year.
So this entire bed used to be full of lakes, and then you just have rampant construction coming up on top.
Yes. If you see this entire area is, was lakeside areas until about maybe a few decades ago. But then
Which lake is this? This is
that side, the main Agara lake.
Okay, this would be an extension of that.
Extension of that, and this is part of the Agara village.
Okay.
You know, and from here you can see the major constructions happening. I'm sure even this part also was part of the lake area, but then constructions have come up over the years. And this is the also part of the IT corridor, which got flooded.
So how is permission even given for these buildings in the first place that they come up? Because clearly, this has been done illegally. It could be a nexus between, let's say, the builders and BBMP officials and other officials. Nobody ever gets caught for this kind of stuff?
I'm not sure because the construction has stopped now. I'm sure various committees, which went into the, the nexus, the town planning scams. Because of their intervention, the construction must have stopped. I don't know the details of this.
Okay.
But then, why this was allowed to come up to this stage?
Correct.
That baffles me.
Correct.
And this is happening not just here, but in many parts of the city, in this area also, in this side of the town also. So, and that was the main reason why people experienced so much of, problems because of the flooding.
So, you have these unconstructed or semi-constructed buildings on the one side. On the other side, you have a main road, you have flyovers, and of course, housing colonies. And all of this, at least a few years ago or a few decades ago, used to be lakes, and construction has come up on lake beds. And that is one of the primary reasons why we saw massive flooding in last year's floods that happened in Bangalore. But no political party is talking about it this time.
No, I think this is not that much of a vote-catching area, and this is where the IT crowd also live, and they don't come and vote. So why bother about them? That must have been the mindset of the politicians and even the officials. But then I will tell you one more thing about these lakes.
Yeah.
Our forefathers had planned in such a beautiful way. Bangalore had many huge lakes, and they're now history now. These lakes were interconnected from one to the other so that the flow of water would be smooth.
Yeah.
There won't be any flooding. That was the motto in which these lakes were constructed earlier, decades back or centuries back. But then because of the movement of a shift of the population here, and because of the money-minded politicians and bureaucrats and also the builders, I think Bangalore has reached this stage now where we see flooding year after year.
It's the final stretch of the campaign in Karnataka, and we are coming to you live for the next 4 days from this beautiful garden city of Bengaluru. Behind me, the majestic Vidhan Sauda. You can see grey clouds hanging on top of the Vidhan Sauda. So who will have to face those grey clouds come the 13th of May? Will it be the incumbent Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai of the BJP, or will it be Siddaramaiah, the former Chief Minister who is challenging for the throne yet again in what many reckon would be his final election? Is it boiling down to a race between the two national parties, the Congress and the BJP? How about the third party, the regional party, JDS? Is it getting squeezed out? And in this final week, this last stretch of the campaign here in Karnataka, it's getting deeply personal. Personal attacks against politicians of all stripes and hues. And there are also promises and freebies galore. But what do the people of Karnataka actually think? That is what we will try and gauge over the next 4 days. And that million-dollar question as they ask, Hawa kiski taraf chal rahi hai? Which way is the political wind blowing in the state of Karnataka? We'll try and get an answer to that question. And along the way, it's not just going to be politics. We're going to have some fun thrown in as well. We will get you to come with us to the best food places, the best eateries in the city of Bengaluru. Where do you get the best masala dosa and filter kapi? And where do you get the best biryani and the best ragi mudde and natukoli? All that and more over the next 4 days as Brass Tacks hits the road.